Hi there, this is Stefan Bolz. We are in session 1 of the Dawning of the True Self, and today I wanted to go back to the beginning of the journey. Every spiritual journey has a beginning point. To make it a little bit more transparent of where the journey goes and what the journey is about, I want to start at the end. Because the end is the motivation that pulls us toward it. Usually you have two separate entities that make somebody go on this spiritual quest. You have on one side pain, the pain of our current situation that is usually has to come to a point that is unbearable or almost unbearable, and it has to push us to a point where we say there must be another way. Right? We can't live like this anymore. We can't have relationships that we're in aren't working. The jobs we're having or the life we're living in general is not working right now. The pain is too large, may that be physical or mental or spiritual or emotional. The pain is too much, and the pain usually is the first motivator that pushes us out, that makes us say there must be something else, there must be something other than this life or this body or this personality. There must be a different way of reacting or interacting with others. There must be a better way to live. And that can only come, in my opinion, if there's a good amount of pain in the beginning and unfulfilled longings and all kinds of emotions that we go through that bring us to that point where we say, this can't be it, there must be more, there must be something better. So that is the part that pushes us. Now there's also a part that pulls us, and that in our journey from the false or from the small self to our true self, if we have that as an arc, as a journey, our true self pulls us toward it constantly. And that is basically the love from our true self toward us that we find ourselves once in a while being captured by. And those might be just very small instances where the love comes through and we feel the pain is gone and we feel like we're coming up for air once in a while. So that love is there at the end of our journey, but it's pulling us through like a distant star that is, the light travels light years. That's not a perfect image because the distance between our true self now and our true self is nothing. But we have put all those barriers in between us, how we see ourselves now, and how this and the reality of our true self. So there are all those barriers between us and our awareness of that magnificent being that we could experience if we weren't so afraid. So I want to read you something that basically gives us an inkling of the end of the journey, and it's almost like a lighthouse. You know, you're in the dark, you're in the tunnel, and if you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, it makes the journey just slightly better, slightly easier. On the other hand, the contrast then to the darkness that you're in becomes bigger, so it makes the journey easier and harder at the same time. What I'm going to read you from is what has now been my spiritual path for the last 25 years, which is the Course in Miracles. I'm going to read just 2 paragraphs from it because it so beautifully summarizes the end result. That we really, in the mental state that we're in right now, have no idea what that is. We have only, once in a while we get an inkling of it, but we have no real experience of it that is prolonged and can sustain us for longer periods of time. So here is the quote. That's from lesson 106 in the workbook of the Course in Miracles. Can you imagine what a state of mind without illusions is? How it would feel? Try to remember when there was a time, perhaps a minute, maybe even less, when nothing came to interrupt your peace, when you were certain you were loved and safe. Then try to picture what it would be like to have that moment be extended to the end of time and to eternity. Then let the sense of quiet that you felt be multiplied 100 times, and then be multiplied another 100 more. And now you have a hint, not more than just the faintest intimation of the state your mind will rest in when the truth has come. Without illusions there could be no fear, no doubt, and no attack. When truth has come, all pain is over, for there is no room for transitory thoughts and dead ideas to linger in your mind. Truth occupies your mind completely, liberating you from all beliefs in the ephemeral. They have no place because the truth has come, and they are nowhere. They cannot be found, for truth is everywhere, forever, now. I think this gives us a little bit of an idea, doesn't do a good job in, if we can't experience it, those are just words, right? There's a good amount of trust in that journey that whatever awaits us at the end is real, is much, much more real than what we have right now. Without that, we will get stuck in the journey, we will not go on, we will actually believe that the end is an illusion and we are the real part. Pain is real, and the end, the love that awaits us at the end of the journey is not real. So there has to be a certain amount of trust that in the end we will be in that state, in our true self that is free of pain, free of fear, and it's not only the absence of that fear or that of pain, but it is the experience of utter love that is not of this world, that we just can't explain. It's beyond anything we can possibly grasp with our rational mind. I'm just looking here at my notes. So what pushes us out of this state that we're in right now is the pain that is that has some tiny little fragments of the experience of love that is not anything that we have experienced before. That experience of love might be unconscious. We might not have caught that moment where we felt completely loved or we felt completely at peace. Because that moment, what that does is it creates this contrast between the pain that we're so used to, and we're so used to that we almost don't see a way out of it. And there's a big part of us that doesn't want a way out of it because we don't know what's on the other side. So if the light of that love of our true self reaches us just a little bit, that generates that forward motion that we can then start the journey. We don't know what that journey is. We have no idea. Thank goodness we don't know, because it can get really dark during that journey. So if we in the beginning say, oh my God, this is all going to be dark, we're not going to go. So it's kind, in a way, not to know where we're going or how deep into the morass of our own thought system of guilt and shame and fear we have to go in order to come out on the other side. But that first push is usually out of pain, that pushes us out of our comfort zone that is not really a happy place. We just don't know where that happy place is. So we start the journey not really knowing what's going to happen. We only know that how we live right now, we cannot live anymore, and there must be another way. And that is how we start our journey. So basically, the combination between the love that comes toward us and the pain that pushes us, that is our first step into the direction of our true self. Let me just grab one of those. Of the actual book, The Dawning of the True Self. I don't want to forget anything that I mentioned in there. Yeah, it's basically what we also don't realize is that the magnificence in the end of our journey, that love that we're going towards, is ourself, right? We just, it's almost like we have split off that part of us and have looked away from it. It's still there all this time. It's right behind us or right beside us, but we have turned our head in the opposite direction, and we are not looking at it. So the whole journey is basically the rediscovering of who we are, but in an indirect way. We're not looking for love, going forward and searching for love, and where is love and how can I get there. That does not work. What the actual journey is at looking all the obstacles. So we're looking at the fear, we're looking at guilt and shame and all the projections we're making onto other people. And by doing that, by looking at everything that is not love and not judging and forgiving ourselves for having put all those barriers in place, that will get us to the love that waits behind it. It never changes. But us just looking to find love, even if it's a love that is inside us, it doesn't work because we're not aware of all the obstacles that we put in place. This is an active process. This journey is a very active searching for everything, basically, that stands between me, my lower self, my small self, and the love that awaits me at the true self. So everything in between that I put in there, I have to look at, reevaluate it, and dismiss it. And that's the journey. That's the journey from the small self to the true self, and that gets us into session 2, which will be next time. Thank you.